Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. In today's video, we're going to be doing a bit of a guide for the Abyssal Expedition. Now, keep in mind, take this with a grain of salt. This is where we're at on the test server at the moment. It's about half a day to a day away before it drops on global server. We are not up to the final boss yet, so things will change, might change by the time we do get to the boss, depending on how the boss pans out. So what we can do is I'm going to do a general overview of Abyssal Expedition for new players, talk a bit about what I would use and am using in this Abyssal, but then we will have a follow-up video once we actually get to the boss on the test server and start finding out what formations are really working. So let's get into it. Okay, so for starting out, a few general tips on when you're just dropping in. This one, I am going to focus on more the masses of players. If you're in like chapter 35, 36, 37, you're in a competitive guild and you have a lot of things maxed, this probably isn't going to be specifically for you. This is more for the masses of players who don't have everything maxed. You know, they're trying to make the most of what they have. We're going to be a bit more of a generalized guide here. And then once again, we will update this once we get to the boss, because the boss may change the way you want to do things. But basically, when you drop on the island, you will have one little tile that is yours. The first thing you do is click on that tile, click settle. You'll be able to put a hero there, get you extra resources. Moving on from that, your first team of 5 heroes that you want to bring wants to be your campaign team, like your strongest team that you have. Reason being is you start out without any relics. Eventually you're going to swap everyone over to basically one main tree, which I will recommend to be Celerity. But you know, in the start, you need your best team because no one's got a buff from any relics. And what you can do is once you get them down to 0 stamina, you can remove them and then add the units from the tree that you actually go into. But basically, start with your best team so you can actually clear stages. Moving on from that, general tips is try and obtain 3 stars on stages, being not having any heroes die and also doing it in the first 30 seconds. Put it on 1-time speed if it helps you. You really don't want to fail, because if you fail a battle, you do lose more stamina, which really sucks, because it's the most important thing in the Abyssal is keeping your stamina up and being able to attack. So slow speed, try and get 3 stars if you can. When you're going through like normal sections through here that don't have you know, towns on them, they're always easier. Try and do them with, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 if you have to units, as few units as you can. So this is once again, go into those battles with like 3 units maybe. Put it on low speed, see how you go. If you looks like you're gonna fail, retry, put another one in, or change up the team, because you want to be as efficient as you can when you're clearing through those basic stages, and not use teams of 5 when you don't actually have to. Moving on from that is when you do get to a boss stage, as you can see here, I've got my little camp there, and it's got my little camp. Basically what happens is when you capture a normal tile, can't have a building on it, just a normal tile. Once you've captured it, you can click on it and then you go settle, and that puts your town there, your little camp there. And when your camp is linked to a tile that is linked to the boss, you will get 5% extra damage on the boss, so keep that in mind. That's pretty much the basics for the completely brand new players coming to the Abyssal. Fairly basic stuff. Moving on from that, some more specific stuff on this Abyssal Expedition. Now, same map as the previous one. In the previous Abyssal Expedition where we had Irons and Helbeto, it was always the left side and the right side. Left was normally mages, right was normally rangers or Celerity. Now, in this one, I think it's going to be good for everyone just to do Celerity. I don't think there's a need for mages because the boss doesn't have that condition on it. Once again, I will do an update when we get to the boss, because who knows, tanks might be the meta and then everyone might pivot to tanks because, you know, Damon's overscaling like crazy or something like that. We'll have to wait and see. But basically, I feel like Celerity tree is going to be the best for most players. Like I said, you want to start with your best 5, but then eventually you can drop them out and keep going. And, you know, drop those, like for instance here, I started with Irons. I'm not building the mage tree. I could have dropped him and put another ranger in. The thing is, I've only got 3 more rangers on this account to bring into the Abyssal Expedition. Past rangers, I'm going to look at doing the support tree. Pretty standard build. So things like Rowan, Taylene, you can get things like Rosaline, the twins, all those things are really good to bring in if you have them at Elite Plus. That's the other thing, you do need them at Elite Plus to be able to bring them in, not just Elite. So basically the reason I left Irons, just to explain myself why I'm not doing what I recommend other people do, is because I do have Lucretia. So for some of these tier 5 settlements where they have 2 battles, I've been using my core team of Ezio, Leica, Iron, and Gwyneth, and then sometimes Pharrell. as one team, and then for the other one I've just been using my Lucretia with Irons, Albedo and Lucius, and just having them as fodder to buff my Lucretia. That's why those guys are still in there. Otherwise I would have subbed them out, but Lucretia needs food. Yes, I'm not getting 3 stars with that strategy, but it's effectively fairly cheap for me considering I don't have every ranger built. But that is very unique to me, so most players won't actually have the beefed up Lucretia, so it won't apply. But the ranger tree is just a really solid tree, and when we look at boss fights now, these boss fights are all very mobile. When we look at the bosses being Zafrael, then Titus and Oscar, very mobile bosses. I still love Cecilia for these. Cecilia's ring reducing attack, even though they're mobile, they normally do land in it. And it's incredibly supportive. In the Ranger tree, you also have Leica, who's incredibly supportive as well. Then you've got a lot of just strong damage dealers to bring as well. That's why I recommend for most players who just have like a general progression account, you know, chapter 20 to 25, this is going to be a really, really good tree for you guys to build, and then pivot into support once you get it sort of higher, because the support tree, you know, has Rowan, has Talene, has Twins, has Rain, has all that sort of stuff that's going to help you just buff the damage of those ranges that you are bringing in. Now, I just wanted to touch on something else from the bosses. Like when I said that I feel like Ranger is viable for both sides, now I feel like the left side will have an easier time using mages against the mini bosses. However, due to the fact that we do have this linking damage, so basically when you kill, if I can click it, info, there it is, the soul binding, so slaying one boss will cause the other boss to lose 50% of their health, meaning that there's no point in prioritizing mages if it's not going to help you in the long run to beat the left-hand side mini bosses, when your right-hand side can sort of carry you through by killing their boss and linking that damage through. So I think in general, Celerity looks like it's going to be the way. I'll bring in more specific boss teams, but I don't want to give you specific teams that are like overpowered for the main boss when, you know, it's involving a 9 furniture Grizzle and stuff like that. So I'll try and keep it down to earth, like things that may maximize most people's damage, but we will have to reassess the main boss when we do get there. Now, the one other thing that I wanted to mention, I think this is the last thing I had on my list, is when to attack the bosses. If you look at me at the moment, my Blessed Relics, I don't have any of these legendary Blessed Relics. I'm storing my stamina waiting to attack because I don't want to attack the boss here with all my stamina, have no stamina, and then tomorrow pick up 2 legendary Blessed Relics but have no stamina to attack. So I'm waiting here, and you can tell from your title. So you can see here, I need to occupy 1 tile within the Blazing Badlands, which is this area here. And to occupy a tile in there, we have to beat the boss. So this is like the last, you know, the last title before, basically the last title I can get until we clear the boss. So there's no point in me wasting my stamina now to attack the boss. And then just pick up relics when I could have got more damage out of it. And obviously if your whole group does this, saves till they have like, I don't know, I'm going to probably save till I have 3 or 4 of these relics and then do my attacks on the boss. And then basically if your whole group does that, it means you're going to get a lot more damage in for less stamina, meaning save stamina, you can progress faster to the next one, do more damage on the next boss, so on and so forth, help you on the final boss. So don't just get to the boss and start attacking, build up your relics a bit before you do. But I think that is pretty much the final tip. Like I said, there was just more of a basic guide because it's been very, very commonly asked, so I wanted to cover that. But yeah. We'll give you more information once we do get to the Aziz boss, because who knows, it might change things, but still Celerity seems like the go for me. But anyway guys, thanks for watching, hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.